Whenever a man handles a dead body, he cut the clothes of the deceased until he was completely naked. What is delivered today is of extraordinary beauty. He couldn't wait to lose the woman's bralette. But the woman suddenly opened her eyes. Surprisingly, the man had a calm expression on his face. It was as if he was used to seeing oddities. He told the woman that this was a funeral home, and that he had died in a car accident. The woman's eyes widened, given that he was driving drunk, then lost his memory after a car accident. But since he was already dead, why was he still able to speak? Lao Bai saw that he didn't seem to believe it. So he took and showed her his death certificate. He died in a car accident 8 hours ago. Before Xiaomai could react, Lao Bai took a sponge and wiped the wound. Xiaomai doesn't understand. What is she doing? It turned out that Lao Bai was an officer who specialized in treating the dead. At this time, Xiaomai still thinks that she is not dead. He begged Lao Bai to let him go. Then he'll help keep her secret. But Lao Bai ignored him, and just said a wise sentence. Xiaomai was frightened, and she wanted to escape from here. But he couldn't exert any strength in his body. So he can only let Lao Bai stitch his head continuously. He was surprised that Xiaomai didn't feel any pain at all. At this time, Lao Bai looked at his watch. Take an injection with a yellow ingredient. Then inject into Xiaomai's neck. Xiaomai immediately dazed and passed out. When he got out of bed, it is late. The first time he felt his pulse, but he didn't feel it. Xiaomai was frightened, and slammed her hands on the bed. Surprisingly, with such a hard blow, he didn't feel the slightest pain. Is he really dead? He wanted to escape here, but the door was locked. At the same time, his girlfriend comes to the funeral home. Want to see Xiaomai one last time. But Lao Bai rejected him on the grounds that he was no longer a member of the family. No matter how much his girlfriend begs, Lao Bai refused to give up. Xiaomai heard her boyfriend's voice and kept screaming. But the sound insulation of the house turned out to be good. Her boyfriend didn't hear her. Xiaomai panicked and wanted to call him. But the phone line was cut. Xiaomai missed an opportunity like this. He angrily dropped things to vent his emotions. The moment Lao Bai opened the door, the room is a mess. Xiaomai begs Lao Bai to let her go. But Lao Bai did not agree. On this day, Xiaomai's mother came to the funeral home. Because he missed her so much, and wanted to see his daughter one last time, Lao Bai slowly lifted the white cloth, and revealed his daughter's body. The mother cried and said goodbye to her daughter, ready to turn around and go. Lao Bai seems to be afraid that Xiaomai will wake up. So he covered the white cloth quickly. His mother suddenly turned around. He told Lao Bai that his daughter had black hair before she lived, hoping he could help Xiaomai repaint it. Lao Bai completely agreed until Xiaomai's mother left. Only then did he heave a sigh of relief. But Xiaomai can really feel what happened at that time. He thought Lao Bai was deliberately hiding something from him. To escape from this place, he finds an operating room and hides behind it. When Lao Bai didn't pay attention to it, Xiaomai immediately attacked him with the scissors in her hand. But Lao Bai easily dodged it. Xiaomai immediately ran towards the door. Seeing Lao Bai walking slowly, Xiaomai panicked. Lao Bai walked up to him and held Xiaomai's hand. Then pointed the sharp scissors at his neck. It turned out that Lao Bai saw that Xiaomai would not dare to kill anyone. so he is very confident. Lao Bai tells Xiaomai that reason. Why can he see the dead Xiaomai? Because he has a talent for communicating with dead souls. But obviously, Xiaomai doesn't believe his bullshit. Before leaving, Lao Bai warned Xiaomai that his funeral will take place in 2 days. So don't get me wrong. Although Lao Bai said so, Xiaomai still wanted to leave. On this day, Xiaomai finally found an opportunity. Lao Bai gave her a dress to try on. Meanwhile, Lao Bai didn't pay attention. Xiaomai slipped away with the key in her hand. After Lao Bai left, Xiaomai quickly took out the key and tried to open the door. But there are too many keys. He could only try one at a time. At this time, Lao Bai was refueling. Then to the pharmacy, and realized he had lost his key. But when he paid, he found that the key was missing. He suddenly felt bad, and rushed home. At this time, Xiaomai also opened the door. But he found that the door was closed. As long as he opened the door in front of him, he could escape. After finally managed to open the door, he ran into the returning Lao Bai. Xiaomai panicked and immediately hid in a room. He quickly contacted his girlfriend. Wanted to tell his girlfriend he's not dead. But due to bad signal, her boyfriend thought it was a telemarketing call, so he hung up. Before Xiaomai could react, Lao Bai appeared behind her. He told Xiaomai not to think about it. It would only make him more sick. Lao Bai tore off the black cloth from the mirror, so Xiaomai can see herself well. Xiaomai took a closer look, only to find that she wasn't bleeding. Xiaomai couldn't believe that she was as white as a white sheet of paper, and Xiaomai immediately despaired. He began to believe what Lao Bai said, maybe he really died. Lao Bai was just about to be happy, but found that the boy just witnessed this strange scene. The boy recognized Xiaomai at a glance, because Xiaomai is the teacher. But Lao Bai didn't take it seriously. He thought that no one would believe what the boy said. But at this time, Xiaomai suddenly exhaled. Lao Bai panicked, and quickly wiped it with a white cloth. From then on, the undead Xiaomai believed that she was a corpse. However, the smoke just now told us that Xiaomai was indeed a living person. But he himself did not know it the next day. A fat cop came to the funeral home. But he didn't come to find Xiaomai, but to visit his brother. But while chatting with Lao Bai, Xiaomai's head suddenly moved. The man, who was a cop, immediately sensed something was wrong. But in order to prevent Lao Bai from getting angry, he asked to stay alone with his brother for 2 minutes. Without refusing, Lao Bai turned and left the room. After Lao Bai left, the policeman walked quickly to Xiaomai's side. The woman was clearly dead. But when the policeman was about to lift the white cloth to check if the heartbeat is still there, unexpectedly, Lao Bai suddenly walked in, startling the fat policeman. He didn't know how to explain it. The sight could only make him turn around, took the police cap from Lao Bai's hand and left. What just happened made Lao Bai very unhappy. But he couldn't reply. The only thing he can do, immediately make up the fat police brother. On the other hand, when his girlfriend comes to school to take care of Xiaomai's belongings, the little boy just happened to see it. Step forward and stop it. He said that he saw Xiaomai dressed in a red dress in the funeral home window last night, but his girlfriend not only didn't believe it. The blow knocked the boy down. He has been dreaming about Xiaomai recently. The sound of the phone call he received yesterday was very similar to Xiaomai. He thought he was hallucinating, but he remembered it well. Xiaomai happened to be wearing a red dress on the day of the car accident. Could Xiaomai really be alive? He immediately rushed to the funeral home, eager to see Xiaomai. Lao Bai is afraid of an accident. Following behind with scissors in hand, his girlfriend screamed Xiaomai's name frantically. But Xiaomai didn't come out to meet him, because after last night, he was certain that she was a corpse. His body was dead, and no one except Lao Bai could hear his voice. Seeing that Xiaomai hasn't come out yet, her boyfriend is very worried. He turned around and came to the police station. Asks his police friends to help him. But his friend thought he was too sad. This wild fantasy was born. Then he took out Xiaomai's death certificate. But the boyfriend finds that the certificate is full of doubts. Forensic doctors at the time did not see the body. He thought that Xiaomai had been injected with some medicine to be presumed dead. When the police officer on the side heard that, he also remembered that there was indeed a drug that could stop a person's heartbeat in a short time. Just when his friend had doubts, the fat policeman next to him suddenly said that he had just been there in the morning. Confirmed that Xiaomai is really dead. This time the boyfriend really gave up. On the day of the funeral, Lao Bai carefully made up Xiaomai. He asked Xiaomai if she had any wishes. Xiaomai wants to see the world one last time. But when Lao Bai led her to the door, Xiaomai didn't dare to come out. Lao Bai told him that this is human nature. Fear of death before, then the fear of life after death. Then Lao Bai was about to inject medicine for him. But Xiaomai wants to see herself again before the funeral. So Lao Bai gave him a mirror. Looking at herself in the mirror, Xiaomai sighed. Seeing the dew on the mirror, he realized that he was not dead. But it's too late. Despite his struggles, Lao Bai injected medicine into his neck again. Xiaomai fainted in an instant. Lao Bai took a photo and pushed it out. At this time, his girlfriend also came here. When he was setting up a ring for Xiaomai, the corner of Xiaomai's mouth suddenly moved. Lao Bai saw this, he was very nervous. But her boyfriend doesn't notice. So Lao Bai heaved a sigh of relief, and quickly covered Xiaomai's coffin. Then, Lao Bai returned backstage. He put Xiaomai's photo on the wall. Surprisingly, he posts a lot of photos like that. It means that these victims are all the work of Lao Bai. On the other hand, when Xiaomai wakes up again, he was buried in the ground. He was scared and kept beating on the crate. But no matter how loudly he shouted, no one heard him. In this way, Xiaomai was buried alive in the ground. After the funeral, the sad boyfriend drank non-stop, trying to numb himself this way. At this time, Lao Bai came behind him, and he told his girlfriend a secret. It turns out that Xiaomai is still alive. Her boyfriend was furious after hearing this. He wanted to hit Lao Bai roughly, but Lao Bai told him to hurry. Xiaomai may not have much time. The boyfriend ran out in a hurry. He drove the car to the destination. It started to rain lightly on the street. But instead of slowing down when he's drunk, he considered the road as his home and passed crazily on the road. Suddenly a white light flashed. When he opened his eyes again, an ambulance drove past him. He didn't see anything out of the ordinary. He rushed to the grave, managed to dig up the coffin, and took Xiaomai out. Turns out he's still alive. But at this time, there was a voice behind him, and his girlfriend turned to look. When he came back, the Xiaomai in his arms disappeared. Turns out everything was a dream. When the white light flashed, he was already in a car accident. Currently, he was lying on the morgue table.
Lao
Bai was just the person in charge of handling the corpse. The difference is that this time Lao Bai has an additional assistant. Next, waiting for his girlfriend will have the same fate as Xiaomai.